Susan said she had a dream. Timothy died on Monday. We went burial, whatever, came back. The following week on Monday, she had a dream about him, that he had died and we were at a vigil. So, weird dream, okay? She wasn't at the vigil. Next day, she had another dream about him. And anyway, second day she dreams about him and we are in the village, second vigil. Third day she dreams about him, we're going to bury. Fourth day she dreams I think after the third day, the dream she had on the third day was quite much. Even for me, if I was the one who dreamt it, it was much. And a part of it reminded me of the movie Black Panther. I was going to say Wakanda. The movie Black Panther, when he goes to the place that had the acacia trees and he meets his deceased dad, and his dad is giving him some words of wisdom. There was a section in the movie. Oh, sorry. There was a section in the dream that was like that. But please note that this is before the movie. The movie comes out in 20 after 17. I don't remember which year. Anyway, so she explains this and says, by the time she had the Wednesday dream, she could not sleep in her room anymore. Like she felt like she didn't even want to sleep at night anymore. So the next day, Thursday night, she goes and sleeps. She stays in her living room. All the lights in the house are on. Television is on. She's hoping to watch movies till morning because she can't tell anybody about what's going on. And because I guess it's freaking her out. And also dreaming about the deceased, remember, is somewhat not right. Like it's evil because they're dead. So she doesn't tell anybody. Thursday night, while she's in the living room, she dreams about him again when she dozes off. And by this time, she's like, okay, like this is too much. But the Thursday dream it ends, without going into too much detail of what the dream is. It starts off, it's got like a really ugly patch, like really messy part. But somewhere along the way, I think Thursday in her dream is when we buried him. Before he was buried, he comes back to life. I know. He comes back to life and he's asking, his usual boisterous self, hey, what up, guys? What are you guys doing? And so everyone is kind of looking at him like, but you are not alive. And so my mother, who passed away years back, appears, and she's sitting somewhere in a corner. And my sister, Pam, in the dream, tells my mom to receive Timothy in love. And my mom nods. She doesn't say anything, but she nods. Susan has never seen my mom. So then Timothy lies back down and dies again. And then Susan turns around, and now Timothy is ahead of her and a whole bunch of people, and they are in celebration. They are in celebration as he walks about 50 meters ahead of them. It's like it's a wedding, so many people. She can see the bikers. He was a biker and he died on his motorbike. He had an accident on his motorbike. So there's a group of bikers, people are drinking, people are making merry, and they're celebrating him. So he goes up a hill and then, says goodbye and he'll see us later, whenever, and he goes into a light. This is the second time someone has dreamt about him and there is a light. There are two other people who dream about him later and he goes into a light, but I will not go into that. Anyway, so on Friday, Susan has another dream again about him. This time he does not appear, but there's like crazy merrymaking, celebration, party, dancing. In my culture, when somebody dies, after the burial, we celebrate their life. And when I say we celebrate their life, we don't just celebrate, with some cookies and some smiles and being nice to each other, gather and say, oh, we're celebrating the life of... No. We celebrate, we party, we dance hard. We dance, we drink. I mean, it's like a crazy party. In fact, the entire village comes to a place. If you throw a good celebration party, the entire village comes. And when we buried him, that evening, after the rainbow and everything, we went back to the place where we'd gathered. And by the time I got there, I did not know. The music systems were already up and there was music playing. Ordinarily, you'd find people playing like Christian music, nice somber music at an event like that. No, it was your good old party music. And I do not have a concept of background music in my head, or that, music is playing on the other side and we are discussing something here. No, I do not sleep while music is playing because I'm literally singing the song. When I'm in a meeting and music is playing, I'm disrupted, so I'm that kind of person. Anyway, so music is playing back where we gathered and my head is bobbing. We have a full-on dance. Full-on dance. I mean, the entire village is there. Two things I remember about that night particularly is that it was a night also that we had white ants come out of... White ants, if you don't know, come out of anthills. They build anthills and they come out of anthills. We eat them. So on that night, there was a white ant harvest. I don't know what to call it anyway, but they came out of the ground. And so people went and collected. It was such a huge, 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 huge harvest that till this day, when we go to the village and people talk about white ants, they say the night we buried Timothy, the day we buried Timothy, that has been the largest harvest we have ever seen. And they've not seen, it's not happened again. So yeah, it was a big deal for me when they say that. The second thing that happened is that I remember at about 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning, the local council leader came and said, he made an announcement. Music went off. He made an announcement and said, if there is any wife here who knows that their husband is at home and they're still dancing, you have to go back home or else you will be arrested. I was sitting, by this time I was tired, I was in the car. I laughed so hard. I was like, these people are hardcore. I mean, women had babies on their backs and they were dancing at that time, like really getting it on. I was like, woo, Timothy, celebrating you. Anyway, fast forward to Susan's dream. That is the kind of celebration, and she was there for that one. And so she remembered, she said it was like, we danced in the village and so on and so forth. There's other things that I can't speak about here that were in that dream, in that series of dreams, that made me believe without a shadow of a doubt that there is life after death, without a shadow of a doubt. That our bodies die. When we are told that this body is a shell in which our spirit lives, we hear it, but then we don't hear it. Like, we hear it and we forget it. We hear it when it's convenient for whatever message is being shared, but when it comes to the reality of it, we don't remember it. We don't remember it the way that it is told on this side. I knew at that point, without a shadow of doubt, till this day, 4 years later, that we do not die. We do not die. And my message that day, that Saturday, we went and saw the priest on Friday, remember. That Saturday, my world flipped and changed completely. After the call from Susan, I called the priest. I was like, Father, you have to hear this. And he was like, tell me. When I started telling him, I could hear this old man jumping up and down. in excitement. And when I was done, both of us were just, I could just feel his energy, and I'm sure he could feel mine. And he said, Jerry, what you have experienced, very few people on this planet experience. Very few people get to know without a shadow of a doubt that their person has gone to the other side, and their person lives on the other side. Very few people get to know without a shadow of a doubt. Listen, my pain, my deep, 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 deep pain, my grief, the pain of losing my brother who I loved so much, whose death just did not make any sense because he had his whole life ahead of him and God just took him, just yanked him. All that pain just faded away. I'm telling you, when I say faded, it's like it crumbled into little pieces and dust particles, and then poof, my pain went away. I was outside the house when this happened. My family, my siblings, my cousins had gathered in the house to pray and just, be together and just, hold space for his memory and just spend some time just look at each other and feel each other's pain and so on. So I was outside the house while we were supposed to meet at 6. So 5, I called Susan. I'm on the phone for a whole freaking hour. That's how long it took for her to tell me that story. And, how much detail she gave me. And by the time I went upstairs, I did not know how to relate to these people that we don't need to be sad. I seemed like a mad person trying to say, there's no reason for us to be sad, guys. Timothy is alive. I must have sounded like a mad person. Anyway, so I'm trying to give everybody their moment to... But I can't. I can't see them sad and just let them just continue like that. Anyway, after that evening, I felt that how I was helping them also not sink too deep in their sadness. They're like, let's follow the crazy person, on her, in her, let's go with her angle a bit and tap into that energy that she has so that we're not just miserable. Even though I believe they may not have believed, they couldn't. I don't think anyone believed me totally, apart from my sister Pam, who kept saying, when you speak to Susan, I will know. Because when I spoke to Susan, I called Pam and I was screaming. I was so excited. She was like, yes, I knew it. I needed you. And she needed me to hear it from Susan because of some of the detail that Susan shared that nobody on this earth could have talked about because nobody knew. Only Pam and I knew some of it. There's some detail that only I knew. Susan had just come back from the UK. She'd been in the UK for 10 years. I did not even speak to her in those 10 years. But she knew this detail. How? Timothy told her. Timothy told her, and he told her knowing that she would tell me, that it would get to us somehow. Susan called a cousin, who called Pam, who called me. That's how it went. And what the priest had said about the dreams is that many times the deceased will find a person to tell us the dream so that we do not doubt the dream. So that you know that it's a person who, why them? And that person should come and tell you, although many people are like, I had a dream about this person, but I couldn't tell them. You have been selected for a reason. There's a reason why you are the one who has dreamt it. Give the message. Let the other person do nothing, but give the message. You are the messenger. It's not your message. You have no business knowing that. Why are you the one who's chosen? Because you are the messenger. Anyway, after this, I'm just happy. I'm just so happy. Like every day, I'm just like, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Timothy. Like I speak to him I used to go, because he was single, or rather not married, he wasn't single. Because he was not married, we had to clear out his house, and I went to his house for months. I did not clear out his house for 8 months or so, because I just could not bring myself to. So I'd go to his house and sit inside and, just sit and immerse myself in the energy in the house and just be. Sometimes I'd read a book, use my phone and do things. I kept saying I have to go and clear out his house, clean it, and so on and so forth. I never did it for a very long time, until I was like, hey, this is now getting ridiculous. Do what you have to do. So in the months, the first 3 months after he passed, remember, I got this wonderful gift and blessing in less than 14 days. In fact, I think it was 12 or 13 days after he'd passed that the pain just went away. But guess what? In the month after that, I kept, at least the first 3 months, I would still find myself feeling so sad about his death and so miserable, and I would cry. I would cry so much. Sometimes I'd be at home and I just start crying, and my children will say, Mommy, what is it about Uncle Timo? I'd say, yes, I'm so sad, guys, I miss him so much, and I would cry. Then one day my daughter said, but Mommy, I don't understand why you cry if you know that he's not dead. If you know that he still lives, and if he sent you a message. I don't understand. I remember I was midway a serious eyeballing cry. And I just stopped and I thought, yeah, why am I crying? I sat back and I said, why am I crying? Yet I know what I know. I hugged her and I said, you're right. I have no reason to cry. That marked the beginning of my living the gift that I had been given 13 days after he passed. That was the first day, and I thank God for my daughter. The next time it happened to me, I was coming home, and on my way home, I just thought about him again, and I got to a place that he liked to hang out, and I thought he was so excited that I'd moved, I'd moved close to where he used to hang out. He was like, oh, now I can come and, spend the night at your house and eat. He would just call me and say, are you home? I need to eat. I'm not there. So he would come, spend time with the girls, eat, sleep. And when I got there, I was like, imagine we did not spend enough time together for him to come and really, be at my house. I start crying again and crying, and I get to my gate. And at the gate, I just thought to myself, why am I crying? Why am I crying? Am I sad that my brother is dead? No. Do I miss him? Yes. But if he was here, would I be with him? What would I be doing? I just thought, I don't know. I mean, my brother, there was a time he took off and went to South Africa for 2 weeks. I said, what are you going to do? He said, oh, I just need to go and see what opportunities, are there. I was like, who does that? Who goes to South Africa for 2 weeks and they're having a blast, popping champagne and, hanging out, and you're looking for opportunities? Excuse me? I used to tell him, you need to have a family. You need some responsibility so that your money is planned and is going somewhere, not just going to look for opportunity. You'd be like, I'm in Dubai. Doing what? Oh, I just came to say, I want to start a garage, and I want to just see, what things I might need. Hello? Do you have to go to Dubai for that? So I thought to myself, this is like him being in South Africa. I know he's there. I don't talk to him every day. I'm just happy that he's happy. So this is like a very long South Africa. Why am I crying? I realized then, it was like a huge light bulb moment. Ka-ching! I realized that I was crying because that is what we do when somebody has died. We cry. We cry even when it doesn't make sense. We cry. When you think about the person, you cry. That is what we're supposed to be sad. We are supposed to be sad when a person dies. Not that we are sad. We're supposed to be sad. All the memories I had of my wonderful, fantastic, magical brother. I don't know if he was really magical or if it's just the love that I feel when I think about him that makes me think he was magical, because we had some moments where I wanted to kill him. When I think about him, there were always such beautiful memories. His friends, when I meet his friends, the connection we have is not because they know me or they like me so much. I mean, I think they like me a bit. But it's because they loved my brother. That, when we see each other, it's like we have a knowing that, Timo brought us together. He brings us together right now. We still love him like he's our common denominator. He is that intersection, like Timo is inside there. That's what brings us together, and we hug. And, when I connect with them on social media, it's not because we are friends. It's because of Timothy. And then I was like, I'm not sad. And from this day, henceforth, going forward, I will not be sad, because I am not sad. I'm not going to go by what we have been programmed to do, because that is not the truth. The truth is that I was healed, is that I overcame this grief, and not because I sat down and meditated or said, I'm going to get over this. No. It was divine, and I believe it was divine because I opened my heart and I said, I actually had, I didn't say this earlier, I had a moment, a friend of mine, Rita, bless your soul, and I love you to bits. While I was dealing with this death, I wanted to say some things. I was feeling things. I was doing things with my brother that was so important to me, to my family, to our lives. We'd been at it for years, and it meant the world to me. I felt like I have put all my youthful years into this struggle. And just when we were getting to the creamy bits, we were starting to see the future. Boom, he was taken away. I had prayed all these years. I trusted in God. I knew that God was around me always, always. And we used to talk about it with Timothy. But when he died, I had some serious things I wanted to say, to get off my chest, but I could not. Because I was this small, minuscule person to God, I realized. Rita sent me a message. She's out of the country. And she said, Jerry, I'm angry. I am angry with God. I'm angry that he could let this happen to us again. She said, if you feel the anger that I feel, let it out. Let it out and let God know. I was like, what? Thank you. He created me, right? He knows me. That's what we are told. So if I'm hiding my emotions from him, I went into my bedroom and I locked the door and I let God have it. It was raw. It was raw and it was deep and it was dark and it was ugly. I said it all out to him. I said everything to God. After that, I said, you are God. See, you took my brother. Do with me as you please. I am just Jerry. I am just a girl. Do with me as you please, in your power, in your almighty power as God. Do as you please. I surrender. My hands are up. Every day I went about just, I prayed, I did what I did, and I just said, God, I'm here. And it's in about this period that I got those messages. And I understood, and I continued to keep my heart open. The pain went away. The pain went. What I did not say is that, okay, so anyway, that pain goes away. 3 years later, I lose another brother. When I lost my second brother, it was also sudden. I receive a phone call. I'm getting ready to, I was going to be a guest speaker on a Zoom call. I'm ready, all dressed. My phone rings. And my older brother is telling me that Mark has collapsed. Woo! I panic. He's collapsed, he's been taken to hospital. I run to the corridor, literally back there. There's a picture of Timothy. I go and I grab the picture. I say, Timothy, please do not let me go to the mortuary again, to a hospital again, to pick another brother. You have to help me. You have to help me. I pick up a picture of my parents. I tell them, guys, I cannot do this again. You have to save me. You have to save me. I pray to God. I say, you must help me. I cannot do this again. I cannot do this again. Help me. I'm praying. 10 minutes later, I receive another phone call. Mark is dead. That cry came from, when they say gut wrenching, our gut is down here. This was a gut-wrenching pain and cry that came from inside to the surface. And I died. I went to the bedroom, and by the time I got there, my husband was up, and I said to him, Mark is dead. And I collapsed in his arms, and so many things were going through my head. I was thinking, another brother? What does this even mean? A second brother? A second brother? A second brother? Mark comes after Timothy. A second brother? No. And I'm thinking, this was last year in August. I'm thinking, I'm going to hospital again. I started thinking, we're going to the village again. We've just come out of lockdown like a month or so, and anyway, I go to the hospital, and with this second one, my brother had actually been calling me and telling me he wanted to meet, and but that's a story for another day. I go to the hospital and I cry. Because he was dead on arrival, he was not even taken inside the hospital. So he was put at the back of the hospital on the veranda. So you can imagine, I get there and my brother's body is outside on the veranda. He's in a gurney, but the top part of the gurney, so he's on the floor and he's been covered. I cried. The neighbors, the homes that were neighboring the hospital, people were, climbing. People climbed on their wall fences and up the water tank to see what was going on. And I was on top of him. I put my head on his chest and I cried. I cried. I cried for 1 million things. I said sorry to him because I did not go when he called me. Actually, he wanted to come home. He wanted to come and visit me at my house, and I cried. I cried so much. But after that day, I kept saying, what is this? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this death? What is the meaning?